nomad lifestyle where you can get a life and live it too. Our podcast actually gives you an opportunity to see many different facets of your life, of the business owner's life that you can experience. And to do that, we actually have guests. And today we have Marie TANNUS. She is going to share with us a little bit of her experience as being a business person and how her life is going. So, Marie, welcome to our podcast.
Hi, Patty. Thank you so much for having me today.
Okay. Yeah, so why don't you go ahead and give us a little information on who you are?
Sure. Well, I call myself the Homeschool and Business Mixologist. And that is because I've realized that I've been those two things for a very long time. And it means that I've homeschooled my kids while having a business. And I just wanted to share that that's very possible for anyone to do, especially now in the times we're living in. And so I really love to help people figure out and learn how they can homeschool their kids the best way and to really feel good about that decision. And on the other side, that they can also develop themselves as an entrepreneur. I like to deal with mostly women because I can empathize and really get into their lifestyle and understanding of what they're going through as a mom and a wife and or a partner and all of those things. So I just really love to do that.
Okay. I considered you like a serial entrepreneur. You own several businesses, do you?
Well, I did, yes. Through the years, what happened was my now ex-husband and I, we had always had a business. And so because of him, I learned how to think more rapidly, get those engines going because once he had an idea, I had to put my running shoes on. So through the years that we were together, we've been in different industries and brick and mortar. So we were, in the car industry as car dealers, and we owned an oil change place, and then we owned an ice cream shop and a few restaurants. So all throughout those years, although I was doing a brick and mortar business, I was doing a network marketing business because I just felt called to do something on my own. So yes, I love the environment of entrepreneurship.
Okay. And what kind of advice you would give to a business owner who's considering, first of all, with our situation as it is now, we have to have multiple streams of income. So what advice can you give our listeners who may be considering, they're scared to go out into doing something else because they've been used to maybe a certain thing? Do you have any advice for them?
Sure. I have some tips. If you're going from being an employee to being a business owner, it's a really different mindset change. So, when you're being told, it's just like being in school. Like if you're an employee, and there's nothing wrong with that, okay? So if you've been an employee for most of your life and you're used to being told when to show up and when to have lunch and the work you have to do and get accomplished, you really have to switch gears, so to speak. That with a business, no matter what type of business it is, even if it's a franchise where they do tell you what to do and how you can, run your business and all that stuff, there is a certain amount of freedom. And I say freedom in quotations because this freedom can actually feel like a really hard place to be in when you don't know how to manage yourself, right? In terms of your time and everything else. So if you're going from employee to business owner, get the books, listen to the videos, find the mentors out there who can help you switch to that mentality. And you can switch both, right? Because I've done it. I've done it too. And when I say I've done it, I don't make a good employee for other people. When I was in high school, yes, because I was young and I was eager and I didn't know very much. But as we owned our businesses, I realized that I would not make that great of an employee because I like the freedom of being an owner. And so, like I said, just know that there is a difference, because that'll help you in transitioning your mindset and just the way you perceive everything, really. And there's so much information and resources out there that can really help you. If I can share, Tati, one of my top people to go to that really helped me through the years was Jim Rohn. He, just listen to him. He's just awesome. And I know you've read him and have watched his videos too. So Jim Rohn was one of my first mentors. That was a very big help in just the way I thought of things. And I can't really think of many others right now, but that's the main one. So really that's the mindset shift.
Okay.
I can go on. There's more. I don't know if you want me to go on with that.
We have a limited time also, so we want to get in as much as possible so our listeners would feel
Sure.
like they have. Did you have to transition from a 9 to 5 to being your own boss, or were you always your own boss?
No, I never really worked 9 to 5 in terms of an office job or any other retail job. No, I went from college to very soon having our first child and then building our first restaurant. So I never really experienced that, but I saw my mother do it.
Yeah.
I saw my parents do it. Yes.
Okay. And how, if you saw your parents do it, how did you get that entrepreneurial spirit? Did you always have that?
Yeah, well, it's funny because although they were 9 to 5ers, they both had a dream. More my dad. So my dad really had a dream of, doing something else that he was doing. And so he always had something on the side, actually. They both did. So they had opened a bakery once, and my mom worked at the United Nations in New York. So that was, 9 to 5, seriously, like for years. And so my dad had had a job, and he would be the one to come home earlier to us and start things. But on the weekends, they would have a little cake business. Once they closed the bakery, they had investors, but they were the sweat equity, and the people who had the money didn't understand how to run a business. And so it basically failed, right? They shut it down. And then when I was 5, my dad opened up a pizzeria in Jersey City, like part-time. So he would always tell me things. He would always say things to me that encouraged me to not just go for a job.
Okay. Are you the only child?
No, I'm the youngest of 3. And then we had an adopted brother. So, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you're a migrant, right? You moved here, or were you born here?
Oh, no, yes, we're immigrants. So I came here when I was almost 2. So, but I grew up in this country. So. Mm-hmm.
Yes. I know the feeling.
Yes.
So, what drives you now? What are you passionate about?
Good question. It's always been helping people. I love the feeling of helping someone who feels, I guess, like they're lost or they're not sure where to go. And now I've become more humble. When I was younger, I'll admit it was more of, I've been there. I can, I know where to go, and here's the way. That's not now. No, there's many ways to get to where you want to go. And so I call myself a guide. I like to be a guide. Like, you don't have to stay in this position or in this feeling of uncertainty and, that frustration, right? We've all been there. And because I remember so clearly how that feels, And I remember being so thankful to the people who had helped guide me. I wanted to pass that on.
Yes.
And I love to see people's eyes just brighten when they realize that, oh, I can do that. That's wow, that's a possibility. So that's what drives me, to help people realize that they can be the best version of themselves, but also that they don't have to wait, for a lifetime to get to that place.
And do you have kids of your own?
Yes. So right now there's 2 boys and a girl that are 26, 20, and 17.
Okay, and what have you learned from parenting that you want to share with our listeners?
Okay, so my latest realization is that the kids are actually here to teach us something. As parents, as being, I'm sure you can relate to this too. As being an immigrant family, coming from a religious background, very familial, but it was great. But it was kind of like, I'm your parent, you do what I say, kind of thing, right? And my parents were actually kind of very lax about a lot of things. Like, they gave us a lot of freedoms, which was really surprising because of my culture. So I was looking back at it now, they were actually pretty cool, right? And but still, there was still this thing of, I'm the parent and you must listen to me. And or it'd be a good idea if you listen to me. So what I've realized in my experience with my kids is that our kids are actually our teachers. And the child that you have the most maybe frustration with, or you butt heads with, it's because that child is the most like you. They remind you so much of you that it's a frustration, I think subconsciously, that, we're like, what? Like, why are you? But if you take the time, you realize that you see a lot of yourself in that child. And so, yeah, my children have been my best teachers.
Oh, yeah, I could absolutely understand. My mother my mother mostly never gave me the option, it would be a good idea if you do this. It was the first one.
Right.
I'm the parent, you're the child, you do what I say.
Right.
And I totally agree with you that the things that we clash, my mom and I clashed a lot. One, because we have similar personalities, very, very similar personalities. What other things you would like to tell our listeners that you feel it's important for them to know? Our listeners are mostly business owners. As you know, I do body work, and most of my clients are actually business owners. So we're hoping to share with any, business owner as well as a non-business owner. But what piece of advice that you feel is the most important you've learned in your life that you want to share?
Sure. Thank you for asking that, because it's a really important question. We are in all different stages in our business. And my first thing is, I've always been a learner. So I love to learn, right? I love to learn new things. I love technology, because it's made life so much easier to do business online, which is what I do with my health and wellness business and my soon-to-be coaching business. So there's a lot out there. But the trick is, I think, and this is what I keep reminding myself, is when you are in business, no matter what type, whether you're a solopreneur, whether you are working with a team, a small team, a big team, I think one of the best things, the 2 words that come to mind, is know thyself. And this goes across the board for anybody, but know thyself is, I think it was Shakespeare, I'm not quite sure, but when you know yourself, you actually